Oh, what to do with this car? What to do with this car? This car here is actually a pretty special car to Cassandra and I. This car here was actually the very first Toyota Camry I ever got, and with it, this car here actually got me the most amount of trophies any car has ever won me. And is there anything really special about this car? No. There's really nothing special about this car. This thing just would not die. We went to a company called Smash Brothers. They don't exist anymore, but it was a nice time running with them. The wife took this into the women's only figure 8 heat and won, and then went into the feature. I think she took like 5th in the feature with it for figure 8. And then came out, I put on my helmet, hopped in the driver's seat, and went right back into Mini Smash, and then ended up winning Mini Smash. And I was really impressed. It was like 21 cars out there, and this thing pulled out of first place. And then we went down to Rockton. I think I took 7th or 8th in Rockton. Took a huge rear driver door hit, which actually broke the fuel pump off the sending unit inside the car. Kind of sucked, but just kind of killed the car pretty much instantly. But then I took this car to Aaron, where they didn't even want it to run because of how beat up it was. And I was like, listen, guys, it's the end of the year. Just let me run the car. I'll be happy and leave. So they let me do that. And I ended up winning the heat and then winning the feature in Aaron. So this car's got 3 trophies on it and 4 runs. This is probably the maximum I've got out of any car is 4 runs. So, I don't know. Now, my problem is the back of this car is so badly gone. The speaker deck is completely blown away. The floor is completely kinked down and crippled in. The rear doors are completely blown out. The rear speaker deck is almost touching the roof. Both of the pillars are gone, so this side and this side are gone. And the back end's super rotted, as you can tell. The rear subframe's actually split in half on this car. Everything's just held in there with seat belts because of how broken it was in Aaron. But what amazes me is how straight the front end of this car is. Like, it's pretty much 100% straight still. And all I got's a Mazda 3 bumper on there. 1 plate holding it on. 1 plate here. And then I do have 1 plate back there because where I was going I was allowed to plate. So I figured I'd throw some plates onto it. Subframe's not bent, frame's not bent, and that's pretty much all I did with this car. And Aaron is drive with the front end. But I've been keeping this car because I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. But as of right now, I really don't think I should be keeping this anymore. I got to take that car apart over there. That car is good. That car needs a motor swap. That car needs a motor swap. That car might need a motor swap. That one might need it. That one actually does need a motor swap. Motor swap on the black one. The white one might need one. And the red car might need a motor swap as well. So realistically, I have like 5 motor swaps I have to put these motors into. So my plan is to keep subframe, keep motor, keep transmission, and just swap it into another car. Now, it is a kind of shame. It's really sad for me to scrap a Toyota Camry that has a good front subframe on it still. And I don't know why this one's so damn good, believe it or not. The rest of the car is pretty much gone, but the front end is still there. And like, I've destroyed front ends of these cars in 5 minutes at a derby, and I've had this one survive 4 derbies. So I don't know. It's kind of a shame to cut it apart, but when the rest of the car is no good, this is no good. There's still lots of good parts in this. Both my struts are good, driver and passenger. It looks like driver's got a little bit of a tweak. Steering rack's good, struts are good, axles are good, the motor transmission's good, the radiator is not good because it's got a wee bit of a hole through it. But I don't know. I still have all my stuff on this, so I'd like to take out my fuel lines, my battery cables, all my electrical, basically clean it all up. I already did take the transmission cooler out of it, so it's mostly just parts now. But I don't know. I'd like to figure out why this car is so tough, but I don't know. we're just going to do what we normally do. I'm going to, well, we're going to do it a little bit differently because usually I cut through here and through the subframe, but because the subframe's still good, I'm just going to cut here and then undo the bolts to the subframe and then take the whole front frame and put it inside the car. So before I do that, I'd like to get out my gas tank holder, my battery cables, and the plugs to build a new standalone harness, because I still wasn't running my standalone harnesses in these cars at this point in time. So, I don't know, a little bit of work to do, but it's going to be sad to see this car go. This, like I said, this was my first Toyota Camry, and believe it or not, I actually did not even buy this Camry. I traded for it. I had to do a whole bunch of work to a figure 8 car for a buddy, and this is what I got in return. I think it was a good investment. But let's get her torn apart here, boys and girls. I'm pretty sure we have the front end ready for this thing to come off, and then we can start taking a look why this thing's so tough. But I really don't know why, because it's rotted. The sheet metal is all super thin. But we got the front end cut off, and we got a chain hooked up to the Lumina, the W body. Got the subframe bolts undone. Let's see if we can rip this off. That was not nearly as entertaining as I thought it was going to be. Well, there you go. We got the front end pulled off, and I'm not too sure. Nothing seems to be bent. There's no kinks or anything anywhere down there, even on the insides. I don't know what made this car much tougher than all the other ones. I don't know. But everything's almost ready to come out now. I'm going to put a come along from here to here just to get some stability, and then I'm going to jack the thing up, and then I'm going to pull the shifter off. I'm going to pull the tops of the strut towers out, heater hose, steering knuckle, and then the wiring, and then this thing should be ready to come out. Shouldn't be too much more work, but I have no idea what made this car so tough. Subframe looks the same. I don't know. I have no idea. I'd really like to know, because then I could do it to the rest of the cars. Because I definitely like cars that don't bend like all my other ones seem to be doing. Oh well. A little bit more work to get this motor out. We have everything taken apart. We have everything that I think that's supposed to be connected disconnected. Oh, look at that, we're crushing a power steering line. Not super happy about that. We have the Lumina almost hooked up now, and then we're going to give it a tug. Got my jack underneath it, but it won't come out because that's uncool. So let's see if we can get this thing pulled ahead, and then make sure everything's disconnected. And then basically this car, I guess we have to take out some stuff still. I want to save the steering wheel, because unfortunately a car I did buy needs a steering wheel. I want to save the window bar because I paid money for that. Get a couple plugs, and then save my gas tank holder, and maybe the shifter, but I've already got two, so I don't really need another one. That's all I really want to save. So let's see if we can get this pulled away with that. Didn't really go as smoothly as I thought. I seen everything kind of going to crap, but I was just like, you know what, keep going. I snapped the wheel off my jack, so now I gotta fix that. Jeez. Sometimes when you see things going wrong, Zach, you should just stop instead of just putting the foot down. But on the positive note, there's the subframe. There's the motor, there's the transmission, there's all the steering, suspension. I got it all out. The car did fall off the jack stand, so again, I should have stopped. But realistically now, I just need to take everything else out of it, and I can start filling this thing up and get it ready for scrap. Should have stopped, Zach. Should have stopped. Oh well, another motor out. Well, after a long day working out here in the sun, I finally got this thing stripped. on here, and then I went and I started cleaning up all my radiators and taking the fans off and cutting the sides off, as you can see down there. Just cut the sides off all the radiators so I could clean them up. That took quite some time. Loaded my old oil tank, and I got the motor sitting right over here, so it's ready to go into the shop. I kind of did mess up on this. I came out here one night super tired and cut a wrong wire. As you can see, those ones are cut there and there, so I'll have to figure those ones out. Get her all joined back together, and hopefully this thing will be running soon. On to the next car, hopefully, but it's a real shame. This car has won me the most amount of trophies that any Toyota Camry, any car, has actually won me. And I don't know. It wasn't good enough for another demolition derby. The frame was gone, like the back frame. Like, there's nothing here. This is all like rubber stuff that the guy before me put on. I think it's spray foam of some kind. Frame's all the way bent up here. Subframe's on a 45. The car is junk, so I'm not super upset, but I thought maybe it had one more run in it. But with how many other Toyota Camrys I have, I don't really need to risk taking this car into the ring again just to have it let me down. I'm not saying it would, but you never know what these cars are capable of, and it could let me down. It could win again, but just not willing to take that chance. So she's off to the scrapyard. Have to build another car now, but thanks everybody for watching. Take care. We'll see you back here on Zach's Workshop.